Good afternoon, everybody. And to all my Bengali friends, a Happy New Year. Today is the New Year of West Bengal. Well, my friend Dr. K.K. Agarwal has said that should give first inaugural address and then question answer. You must have heard me a number of times, so I am not keen to give much time for inaugural address. It is better that if we start question answer, because today evening also I am told that there is one program of felicitation, so again I have to speak. So, I am sure you will not only be tired, but I don't want you to torture on giving lectures after lectures and sermons after sermons. So let's start with a question answer. If you have any, I will be very happy to reply whatever is possible to me. So anyone?
Question answers related to medical education, related to ethics and unethical acts, related to violence, related to clinical establishments. Let's focus for these 4 issues and introduce yourself, be brief in your question and ask the question.
I hope it will be an easy question, not tough one.
It's only the suggestion. I am Dr. Kishore from Andhra Pradesh, sir. I am Dr. Kishore from Andhra Pradesh, sir. This question is that there are the degrees, some of the job persons bringing the degrees saying that MD, Ukraine and MD, some other countries, placing them as an MD, family medicine, and all those things are putting on the sideboards. But actually in Andhra Pradesh Medical Council we decided, what we decided them is put a MD Ukraine, in bracket, use the word as equivalent to MBBS. But so many doctors are not following it. Let us wait for the MCA rule about that. Is the main point is, and because that point everybody is questioning, and in practice also, and they are claiming that they are MDs, general MD like that.
Yeah, all these 29 countries which were earlier a part of the USSR, and after the breakdown of USSR, there are now 29 different countries, and in that, all these 29 countries, they give the nomenclature of MD for the purpose of MBBS, which is equivalent to MBBS degree in our country. But now, after this 2001 amendment in the NCA Act, introduction in the screening test, these numbers have gone down drastically. Earlier, every year, they used to be in 2,000 to 3,000. Now it has almost come down to 100, 150 because the results of the screening test is so tough. It has never touched 2 digits in terms of percentage. So slowly and slowly these numbers are decreasing. But yes, if the state medical council, because that is a registering authority, and state medical councils are autonomous, independent of the Medical Council of India Act. So you can always prescribe your own norms, and if somebody doesn't follow, you can withdraw the name from your state medical register. You have every right to withdraw.
This can be implemented in all over India, saying that it should be equivalent to MBBS.
Yeah, but as I said, all the state medical councils are autonomous, independent bodies. MCI cannot give directions to them. MCI can give only an advisory note. They may accept, they may not accept. Where every state medical council has a different norms. The state medical councils are created by the state legislative act and not by the parliament act. So you can always give the advice.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Sir, I am Dr. Rajiv Ranjan Shah from Bihar. We are very much elated about your declaration and election of the President of World Medical Council, World Medical Association. And we feel that by recognizing you as the leader of the World Medical Fraternity, the Doctors Fraternity of India has been given recognition. Because you are a person who is fighting for the cause of doctors and for the medical education for the last 2 decades. Our simple demand is this, that atrocities of doctor is a worldwide phenomenon. Specifically in context of India, it is a problem towards human race is under challenge because doctors are segregated as a different class for punishment. So I want to have some idea about the fact that can World Medical Association form a committee against the atrocities on doctor on all the countries so that the respective countries committee can look after the matter and make a presentation before the World Committee so that it can take a proper action under your dynamic leadership. Sir, is it possible to have atrocities redressal for doctors committee countrywide? That is my question.
Yeah, I think it's a good proposition, but I don't think it will be that easy to implement. The reason is that every country has its own separate law. And the problem of atrocities or assault on doctors is not only restricted to India. I mean, I don't know those who have been there in my installation in Taiwan. In my presidential speech, I have raised the issue and I spoke for 3 to 4 minutes on the assaults on the health professionals globally. This problem is everywhere. We feel that it's more in India, but I tell you, even a country like Germany, which is the most educated, highly equipped in terms of technology, there the assault on doctors is more than what percentage of assault on doctors in India. See, here the assault may be in terms of kicking or beating, something like that. There the assault is in terms of firing. They are killed, literally. So this problem is a global problem. Every doctors of the world, they are apprehensive, they are scared, they are worried about the issue. Every country is trying their level best. But I have been telling time and again in today evening also, it is in my mind to address this issue, about the assault on the doctors. State governments are almost, I think 17 or 18 state governments has already enacted the law in terms of this assault on the doctors. Still it has not reduced or stopped. Rather it's increasing. So merely making a law is not going to help out. There are criminal laws on the criminal activity like imprisonment, life imprisonment, death sentence, still the killing and murder are taking place. So this requires a different different level of introspection among ourselves also. But you have a good suggestion. To be very honest, it has never come to our mind. And definitely, next week only in Zambia, we are going to have our council meeting of the WMA, and then I will propose this. If it is possible, we will definitely try to incorporate this.
Thank you, sir.
It's a good suggestion.
Dr. Joseph Mani from Kerala, first of all, congratulations to sir for adorning the post of World Medical Association President. As already said, the attack on doctors, clinical establishment bill are all the scenario of the medical profession now. We oppose West Bengal clinical establishment bill is because it has so many clauses which IMA totally opposes at all times. If it is passed and proceeded in the present direction, it will have repercussions in the other states also. That is why we are opposing that. The other states will also come in line with this act and can cause havoc of problems with the medical profession. For example, the prosecution of doctors for criminal negligence. It is already there. It is again reiterated in the act, which is a very dangerous proposition for the medical profession, because we always say that in treatment, medical treatment, there is no criminal negligence. Just like the USA, I think there is no criminal negligence unless it is a gross violation of the norms. The United States of America doesn't have a criminal negligence in treatment. Section 88 of Indian Penal Code provides protection to doctors if done in good faith. Am I right? Yes. So we are fighting against criminal negligence, and you know that the criminal negligence you have to go into the jail. No amount of money can compensate for that. That is a dangerous thing of criminal negligence. Whatever money you get, you cannot utilize that. You have to be in the jail if it is punished. That is why we are opposing the criminal negligence in medical treatment. That is a very dangerous proposition in the West Bengal Clinical Establishment Bill. As somebody said, India, we are following the British system of law. That is why that criminal negligence also comes to this. If you are following American system of law, there is no criminal negligence. In India, 50% of the things we follow American side, and another 50% we follow the British side. So this is very dangerous, and we had a discussion with Mallikarjun Kharge, the leader of the opposition, at Hyderabad on 26. Honorable Secretary General and we were there. Initially he was very adamant and against the doctors, but in the last part of the discussion, as beloved Ketan Desai said, I pointed out to him that fact. There are stringent laws, that is homicide, section 302, and even if that people are doing a murder, but the leader of the opposition said, no. If there is a stringent law, people will have fear and then they will desist from doing more crimes. That is an eye-opening to me and the Secretary General, especially for me. If you have a stringent law, people will have fear and they will desist from doing violence. That is, we heard from a member who is capable of making laws in this country. That is why we need a stringent law. And he proposed also that you are controlled by the medical council.
What is your question?
My point is that you are controlled by the Medical Council Act, then why can't the Medical Council come forward and put a suggestion to the government? That is what
suggestion you want?
We want a comprehensive medical act, incorporating violence and doctors.
We are already asking for a single window accountability. That we are already.
I want to hear from whether the Medical Council can propose
Dr.
that.
Joseph Mani, I mean, I understood what you are trying to say. There is a big queue behind you. What you intend to say when you met the leader of opposition, Kharge, that if there is a stringent law, then people will desist to do the criminal activity. And that is one way of tackling or handling the issue. Just now I said there are stringent laws on many other criminal aspects. See, if you kill somebody, you will be sent to life imprisonment. Or there is a provision of a death penalty. Does that mean that the killing has stopped? Murder has stopped? No. Probably every day in some part of the country it takes place. There are stringent law for now rape cases. Does that mean that rape cases have stopped? No. Still it is happening. Every day in some part of some corner of the country it is happening. So it's not that by making a stringent law you can tackle the situation. You can change this, or you can handle it only with your thinking process. See, any negligence, whether a civilian negligence or a criminal negligence by the medical professionals, normally it cannot be an intentional. No doctor would do it. Which doctor would want that his patient should be treated badly or maybe killed or maybe some portion, part of his body will be removed because of he wants to do that. Nobody would do that. I don't think, unless somebody is a psychological disorder person. I mean, that man, normal circumstances, the state councils or medical council of India takes care of it. So that is not the issue. But yes, the provisions which are now being coming one after another by the state government's enactments or by the government of India enactments, we are already in negotiation with the government of India. Government of India has already constituted a committee. We have about 3 or 4 members, and this committee had met in number of times, and almost now we are on the final stage by which will ensure that the doctor's interests are protected if the negligence is unintentional. I mean, let me be very clear. If you are doing something intentionally, you should be punished. It is not a pardonable act.
Thank you, sir.
Before it takes over, Ira, there are a lot of questions which has come to me that this is Clinical Establishment Act. What are the 4 or 5 points where the act is ultra-vires? Where the act, the basic constitutional points are unconstitutional?
Of the West Bengal?
Yes.
First of all, in this Act, there are many provisions which are contrary to the Central Clinical Establishment Act.
Opposite to Central Clinical Establishment.
Opposing to Central Clinical Establishment Act. For example, in Central Clinical Establishment Act, there is no provision of damage, and medical negligence is not there is no provision of medical negligence, which is there in the West Bengal Act. And
criminalization of the
Medical practice.
which is the main issue in this act. That it has compulsorily criminalized the practice, and the word use is short. That any of the violation of the act, whether it's a minor, there's no discrepancy between minor or major. Secondly, right to profession. Constitution gives you right to carry forward your profession according to you. However, everything, even a single establishment, single doctor thing is covered under the Act. Secondly, state and government hospitals are excluded compulsorily from the Act, which is against the Constitution.
So do you feel that when we have passed the resolution that the state and the IMA today will sit in the evening and come out with a policy, and if the state ultimately doesn't listen, some legal options are available to the IMA body for those unconstitutional points to make them constitutional?
Yes.
Sir, I'm Dr. Srijit Kumar. I'm the National Coordinator of the Medical Student Network. And what I wanted to ask you was, using your resources, the President of the World Medical Association, how best our students can get an international exposure, both academically, professionally, and also in matters of ethics and communication. Thank you.
There is already one association of International Federation of Medical Students affiliated to the World Medical Association, and they are very active. Recently also they had one international conference, and in the month of August they are having a second convention in Tanzania from 1st August to 8th of August, where the medical students and the graduates, they are coming from all over India. So it's better that, you join with them if you have any interest, or if someone is interested in touch with you, you can advise them to be there. It is called the International Federation of Medical Students, IFMU, affiliated to the World Medical Association. And they are very active.
I'm Raman Kumar Verma from Bihar. I am once again here to say a few words about Clinical Establishment Act, which affects especially Bihar. We had filed a case in Honorable High Court of Patna, and we could get a stay from the Honorable High Court on some technical grounds. But our council has been repeatedly impressing upon us that unless this Clinical Establishment Act is suitably amended, High Court is not going to give us much relief, since the Act has already been passed by our Bihar Assembly also. In the circumstances, I will request you to take up this matter with the government as regards prescription of minimum standards are concerned. Well, minimum standards should be minimum, but the minimum standards as prescribed by the center are the maximum. IMA Bihar, with Dr. Saja, Dr. Rajiv, Dr. Ajay, and Dr. G.K. Thakur, has been able to work out some alternative plan, alternative minimum standard for different levels of clinic, level 1, level 2, level 3. But since the minimum standards worked out, our alternative plan
I should like to place it before the action committee or in some different meeting because it will take more than half an hour. Thank you, sir.
It's a question or it's a presentation?
Sorry.
Be specific to
Sir?
your question.
I got your point, just in a lighter tone. I think this you have to tackle it at the state level only, because I think Bihar is the only state which has adopted the central law in toto as it is. I don't think any state has adopted. No, but they are not in 100% copied from the Central Act. So then why nobody is speaking? I mean, all these days I had been to UP a number of times. No one came forward and said that they have a problem. These issues has to be tackled at local level only. Central level, I don't think you will be able to help it out in the state acts.
Sir, I am Dr. Ajay Kumar from Bihar. Sir, my question regarding the role of Medical Council of India in professional security of doctors. Sir, in 2005, the Supreme Court directed that central and state government, in consultation with MCI, should make rules and regulations regarding professional security of doctors. I think central government has not come up, state governments also have not come up, but we are supporting so much to our MCI. But MCI also did not come in our protection. They should have suo motu made a rule for our professional protection. And we are fighting for this criminal separation of criminal negligence from medical practice. They should have already put it into the act that they were suggested, that medical practice cannot be criminal. Medical practice, unless there is some intention. So, I just ask you, you are our guardian in MCI, and MCI, why MCI is signed from suggesting the government for professional protection, and that is very much paining us, sir. That is regarding Clinical Establishment Act. After West Bengal Act, we are feeling some relief. The CEA 2010 is a bit good. We are saying it draconian. We fought it against it in the streets. But after West Bengal Act, nothing more can happen against us. Sir, my point about one or two more things my colleague has said about that state subject and all the things should be decided, standards, categorization should be decided, requirements should be decided by the state. That should be provided in the Act, in 52 and 54 sections of the Act. That should be interchanged. Anyway, sir, my other point is that how can, when other professions, when our legal people, chartered accountant, their fees and etc. are not settled by any government, how can they settle our fee? How can they fix our fee for consultation and procedures, etc.? This is completely anti-constitution, and this is taking away our constitutional right of practice. So, sir, even with this interministerial committee, we could not solve this. They have thrown it to the state governments. And regarding this procedures, this treatment procedures, how can any committee can decide treatment procedures?
Dr. Ajay, I have only 5 minutes left.
Okay, sir. I
have 5 minutes. Please ask one-liner question, because he has to catch a flight. We have to reach the felicitation function, and we have to adjourn the meeting at 4:25 as decided.
I'll reply your main worry about the professional protection, why MCI is silent on that. I think probably your colleagues from Bihar who are members of Medical Council of India have not informed you properly. In last general body meeting, who are there? Sajarat is there, no? Issue of professional protection is not there in the principal act. That is why MCI cannot make the rules. So to make the rules, you have to amend the act first. And for that only the MCI has called the health secretaries to sensitize them And once we get the response, a positive response from health secretaries, accordingly a proposal will be sent to amend the act appropriately so that the necessary rules can be brought in by the MCA. So your concern and your apprehension is already been taken care of.
Or direction, you got that power to suggest something.
No. There is no such Supreme Court direction.
Sir, really we are very thankful for MCI to take up this issue of professional security. But as you have said yourself, that merely making laws is not going to help. So how MCI and you, sir, as a patron of the medical education, what things are to be included in the curriculum so that our products, that is a doctor coming out, will be much better equipped to face these communication skills, all other things, whether they can be included and are included in the curriculum.
Whatever you include in your curriculum, unless and until you change your psyche, unless and until you change your mentality, how to behave, how to act, how to treat your patient, how ethically you should be, it does not require any training in curriculum. It does not require any training in curriculum. There is nothing today in the curriculum. Okay? But all of us are not like that. Our large number of medical professionals are still practicing completely ethically. They are very few. And because of that few only, the professions have been blamed and maligned. The curriculum, for the sake of you have done something, you can incorporate in the curriculum. See, when I got admission, it was a 4.5 year of course. Today also it is 4.5 year of course. But when we were studying, there were only 9 subjects. Today there are 17 subjects. So everybody wants their subject to be in the part of a curriculum. Now radiologists and anesthetists who are left out, they also want a separate subject. So you are torturing the students. Every issue when it's highlighted, the first and foremost suggestion is, sir, incorporate in the curriculum so that students are sensitized. How many things you will incorporate? And by introduction, and let's be very honest, how many of us and how many of the students of today, they are attending classes? Let's be very honest. I am sure you and me both have hardly attended. So it doesn't make any difference.
I'm Dr. Mohan from Kerala. Actually, it's about the Medical Establishment Act. The thing is, the very purpose and the very philosophy of bringing in such a legislation is being challenged now. Because it's not Medical Practice Act, it is Clinical Establishment Act. Actually, the very purpose of the act was to bring in standardization of institutions, including laboratories, and not for medical practice. The act was to suggest standards of institutions, maybe prescribe some standard rats and all, not for medical practice or not for prescribing, say, punitive measures against doctors. There are any number of bodies, including medical council, civil courts, or human rights commissions, consumer courts, and also the criminal courts where any litigation against doctor could be taken. And is there any need for incorporating punitive measures and bodies for punitive measures inside Clinical Establishment Act? Actually, is there any provision? Our national IMA has to sensitize the administrators at the state level, probably through the local branches or the state branches. Wherever the bill is yet to be passed, like the state like Kerala, where when they are formulating rules and laws, they have to bear in mind that the legislation is only for standardization of institutions and not for regulating or controlling medical practice. Can national IMA do something on that?
In what way you want to do? As you have very rightly said, the Clinical Establishment Act is with the purpose of standardization of the institutions. It is not directly affecting the medical practitioners or the type of medical practice which is expected through this act. My personal opinion was this act was brought in by the influence of the corporate culture to demolish the small nursing homes.
That's happening now.
That's happening now. That's what my belief is. So unless and until the state units as well as the central units simply mere presenting to this government is not going to solve the issue. I have been telling this time and again, my many friends who are here when we were discussing NMCs and other issues. You have to sensitize your local member of parliament if it is a central act. And if it is a state act, you have to sensitize your local MLAs, irrespective of political party. You should meet each and everybody.
That's being done.
Because I tell you, most of the acts which are passed by the state or by the center, 90% of the MLAs or MPs are not aware of it. They are not aware of it. The bureaucrats which had proposed that act, it is pass, like what we are doing here, is happening there also. So best thing is to sensitize. You have to strategize your movement. By simply meeting in such a five-star hotel and in an air-conditioned room, nothing is going to solve. Take my word. Nothing is going to solve. We have been fighting with the government of India for last 15 years to prevent the autonomy of the Medical Council of India, not mere influence of by Ketan, Desai or by some other who were presidents earlier. We have done this tactic. Yes, I mean it's difficult to meet and sensitize all 542 members of parliament. It's of no use also. You have to identify who are vocal people. You have to identify who are intelligent. You have to identify who will understand your issue. See, being a medical man today, it's very easy for me to understand a medical issue. But if tomorrow some chartered accountant associate comes and will try to explain me some legislation which is affecting chartered accountant, I may listen for 5, 10, 15 minutes, okay, then I'll say, okay, I'll let you see what I can do. And I'll send them away. Because it's very difficult for me to understand. So you have to identify the persons who can understand, number one, who will take it. You are confident enough that once you go, because many of them, they are our patients also, many of them, they are our relatives also. So even if they are not your subject, but because of your personal proximity with them, he will understand, he will sit with you, he will try to understand, and he will try to do something. Probably if you convince them that what you are saying is in the interest.
Small point is, how can we ensure at least some amount of uniformity amongst the acts that are being passed in different states? That could be ensured only if at the national level something is being done. There is some uniformity, because right now what you see is the West Bengal Act is entirely different from the other acts, and maybe some other things that are going to come may not be having any similarity.
That is very difficult. Because it's a federal structure. See, our country is a federal structure. Every state is an autonomous state. Every state has a right to make their own law. You can't enforce because it is as per the constitution.
It's not enforcing, sir. I still feel that national IMA can have a definite role in influencing the states, in bringing in at least some sort of uniformity amongst the acts that are being passed.
Provided your state IMAs listen to this IMA. That is the problem.
States are very active in many places. Yeah.
See, states are agreeing with the national IMA only if it suits them. The moment it does not suit them, they don't listen.
No, sir, we have to
they don't even reply.
We have to show that national IMA is a body to be reckoned with, so that the state listen to us.
Okay.
So I have to request Dr. Desai to not answer for 3 minutes. During these minutes, let everybody speak one line. Let him collectively answer, because otherwise we will not be able to reach. It's a 1 hour drive from here, and we will not be able to reach, and we will not be able to have a felicitation function of this. So kindly speak out in next 3 minutes. Just everybody speaks out one line each, and let him collectively answer.
So, sir, about sessions postgraduate certificate course, many agencies are distributing doctors to take up this sessions course of postgraduate certification, which is not recognized by MCI. Can WMA do something in this regard so that the doctors are not misled and they don't take up this course?
Thank you. Next. Yes.
Dr. Venkateswarlu,
from Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. Sir,
So everybody is known, just speak out. We know everybody, so you don't have to.
deviating from all topics, I want to ask you an enlightened question. Why not the World Health World Health Council advise the governments to increase the health budget?
So health budget, increase in health budget. Third, next.
Second thing is, they are spending lot of money on arms and all this. If diverted,
The budget of defense should be diverted to health.
Yes. Will come down and health will be improved for the people. Electrical water will be given to the people. Lot of service.
Thank you.
This is why is it not to think that the World Health Council has a role to advise these things?
Yes.
To increase the budget.
Quick.
Dr. Sharma from Punjab. Sir, I have 3 quick points. One is medical education.
Speak loudly.
How to reduce it? Maybe the district hospital conversion into small medical college can be answered.
Keep it here and speak loudly. Keep it here.
Just one medical education is not very costly. Can we consider the proposal of converting district hospitals into small medical colleges?
So district hospital into medical colleges. Next.
Second point is on the clinical establishment only one point. Sir, we had a problem with the emergency clause. One part has been taken care of by vice leadership. Thanks for that. That is stabilization. 24-hour compulsory emergency services for all establishments is not possible. So that should also be optional. It should not be compulsory for all. And third is on assault on doctor. Problem is recording and reporting. As in POCSO Act, any complaint of assault on doctors should be made compulsorily recording, and non-recording and non-reporting should be made punishable as it is in the POCSO. That is acting.
Thank you. Next.
Most respected leader of WMA, Desai Sahab, my question is that if a patient files a complaint against the doctor on negligence in the MCI, and MCI directs the state medical council to take the decision required into the matter. And after the state medical council has taken the decision, can the patient have a right to appeal again in the MCI, and MCI has a authority to reverse the decision of the state medical council?
Okay. Next.
So I would like to have 2 questions to ask you. One is as this West Bengal Medical Establishment Act.
Another thing to please pardon us. Till Uttare will allow. Till Dr. Uttare will allow. Rest we request you will answer it tomorrow. Please. Request, you can interact with him while we are going out and having dinner. Please.
As the West Bengal Clinical Establishment Act is violating more than 4 constitutional provisions and is as a lot of inconsistencies, do you recommend the National IMA challenging the West Bengal Act in Kolkata High Court? That
Thank
is
you.
one question. One more, sir. Regarding what is the status of National Medical Commission now and what is the way out?
Thank you. Next.
Sir, as a very learned leader of the profession, what is your answer to this question, which is regarding application of criminal negligence on medical practice?
Okay, criminal negligence of medical practice. Next, Dr. Uttare.
Dr. Uttare from Maharashtra. Sir, I'll be asking something on cross-packing, which we have been suffering a lot in Maharashtra. Section 10A, under that, MCA completely occupies that whole section. Yet, it is the state governments who are today saying that if you do some particular course in pharmacology, you will be allowed to practice modern medicine, which should not be as per the Central Act of MCA. And second thing, as far as MCA themselves are concerned, when the other councils are allowing their members, like the Ayush Council, to prescribe allopathic medicine, again they are impinging on the rights of MCI, which basically says that only those who have done MBBS and above are allowed to do allopathic practice. So why isn't MCI actively taking action in these two? Why both? I'm talking about even at the central level and the state council level. It is always IMA who has been fighting this. So I think MCA should take up this issue.
I can give you one line.
Yes. My request is that IMA and MCA member, I request IMA and MCA member, please make a resolution that our allopathic anesthetic should not give anesthesia to the
So I lost that.
Ayurvedic BMS, MDMS doctors which is illegal because in Maharashtra
No, that is the matter we can discuss tomorrow, not with the WMA.
Yes, WMA Tamil Nadu. One of the hospital was penalized by National Board for selling the drug at a MRP rate. Is it correct?
Okay, selling the drug at MRP. This also we'll take it up tomorrow because that's an issue of IMA. Let Dr. Desai answer, and that's the last final answer from him as far as interaction is concerned.
Well, there are a number of questions, and but the important one which concerns with the medical education I will first. One gentleman has come with the Cecil's certificate course. See, WMA has nothing to do with that. If some country is giving some certificate course, and which if it is not recognized by Medical Council of India, what WMA can do? However, I mean, that Cecil certificate may not be recognized even in Britain and in US also. That does not mean that WMA should go to the government of UK and government of USA. Best thing is, all the students who are opting for such courses are fully aware that this course is not approved or recognized by Medical Council of India, but still they opt for it for multiple considerations which I don't want to highlight it out here. Ultimately, it's an illegal practice once they come back. And that illegal practice, when they go with that intention only. So let's not have any pity or any sympathy for such who are opting for such fellowship courses or certificate courses which are neither approved nor recognized by the Medical Council of India. And when they come back and when they are caught, then only they cry and then start shouting. If they are not caught, they are happy with that. So let's not go into that issue much. Some other gentleman has come out that medical education is very costly. It's a very controversial issue. See, there are two types of institutions in our country. One is government institution, another is a private institution. And in government institutions, what is the fee? Is nothing. In my state, it is still 650 rupees per term. So, 1300 rupees per year. And some hostel fee if you are occupying the hostel. If you want to go in such institutions, now Medical Council of India has come forward with a single test in the country. I mean, it's a historical decision taken, and how much pain we have taken, we know it. I've been trying for last 7-8 years. In 2009, when I was the president, I brought this, I called a special meeting of the general body in June 2009. We passed the resolution and we moved to the government. One after another, number of queries were sent back to the MCA from the government. We were aware of the intention of the government, the then government, that they don't want to do it. But very promptly we replied each and every, and when they had left with no option, this need was notified. Unfortunately, it was scrapped by the Honorable Supreme Court. Again, the Medical Council of India had filed a review petition which came up in 2016, and the judgment of the Supreme Court have been set aside and the NEET was introduced. And now I'm sure you all must be aware of it, that now there is only one test in the country, and recently even for private colleges also, Medical Council of India issued a circular that all the admissions in private medical colleges also shall be by the respective state governments. Neither management quota, nor NRI quota, nor any type of quota, the private medical college management are entitled to admit. Now it's up to the state government. We can make the law. The law has to be implemented by the state government because education is a state subject. And I am sure, as well as my knowledge is concerned, most of the state governments have now adopted that law, and the admissions of postgraduate courses for this year have been started by the state governments, purely on the basis of the merit of the need. So the capitation and donation and all that era is almost over. It is possible only if the government is in connivance with the private management. Otherwise, it's not possible. Regarding some gentleman issued that WMA should advise the government to increase the health budget. I don't think the WMA has that role in their own objectives and aims to advise the government, because if the WMA gives any advice to any government on any issue, it has to work up in detail, because you have to justify. If the WMA advises that your budget is 6%, you raise to 6.5 or 7, it requires a very healthy, a very extensive exercise, which I have my own doubt the WMA would be able to do it. Another gentleman has raised the issue whether if the State Medical Council punishes or takes a decision, whether the patient has a right to go to the appeal with the NCR. The patient has a right to go to the appeal. Strictly speaking, the appeal has to go to central government, and central government then forward to Medical Council of India for the opinion and consultation, but it's not done in that way now. For last at least 20-25 years when I have been actively involved with the MCI. Now even the central government has also silently conveyed to the MCI that you directly accept the appeal, you directly take the decision and convey the decision to the concerned parties as it is to be deemed to be approved by the central government. So they have a right to appeal. Now some suggestion was that IMA should challenge the West Bengal new act. I think the state branches are already in the pipeline of challenging this West Bengal Act, and where I think they should make the IMA as a party, and IMA can definitely act according to the decision of the working committee or the resolution passed by the working committee, if not today, at least by tomorrow. And accordingly, IMA also will hire the legal counsel and will take the appropriate stand in the court, whatever is passed today. Now this criminal negligence and all that we have discussed at length already. Now regarding the cross-pati, which Dr. Utre has raised the issue. There is already two judgments of the Supreme Court. One is Triloknath Jain and another is Dinesh Patel versus Union of India, where Supreme Court has categorically said that no pati can prescribe a drug of the other pati. Only thing that you have to be alert. The state unit has to be alert and take up the issue with the local state government. Because the Supreme Court direction, Supreme Court judgment is the law of the land. And once that law, the judgment has been delivered, and this judgment has been delivered, I think 10-15 years before. Still, I am aware, even in my state, I think about 1,000 homeopaths have been appointed as medical officers in primary health center. And they are permitted to prescribe certain drugs in emergency. They are permitted to do prescribe certain drugs. It's happening, and it's happening because we are not willing to go in primary health centers, in CHCs, in rural areas, and that's the issue which requires a lot of detailed discussion, which I address today in the evening on that also. It's a sensitive issue. My many colleagues sitting on the dais as well as not on the dais, they are not in agreement with my view on that. So let's not discuss on that part of it. Thank you very much.